Big up everyone tuned in. I'm back again. I've got African Gooner in the building. We're going to go over the fixtures. We're going to go over the transfer news. We're going to go over all of that stuff. Smash the like button and all of that. First things first. How you doing, my friend? Everything good?
Yeah, all good.
I'm a smile on your face.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a fresh trim for you. You're looking dapper. Am I wrong? Did you not get one?
Appreciate that, my guy. Yeah, appreciate that. I thought I need to fix up a bit, man. I appreciate that, man. But
no, it all kind of look presentable, you know.
Man. It was starting to look all mad. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I didn't recognize myself. I was like, you know what? Let me just go cut my hair, man. And I picked the best day to do this with you, man. I wanna because I know we're gonna get into Zubimendi and all of that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get into Zubimendi more in depth in a sec. But I did want to ask you this because I've been speaking about it with my group chat. Obviously, we've heard about Zubimendi for a minute. We've probably been overloaded with that Zubimendi news. So it's like a new signing, but it's not really. Yeah. Me and you and everyone in the last stream, we was crying a bit about the signings and why is it taking long and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. We did hear Arsenal were confident for one, but then I went and looked at when we signed Jesus, when we signed Zinchenko, when we signed Rice. A lot of these guys were in before preseason or while we was during there, in July and whatnot. We're not in July. So have we been overreacting? I guess what I'm trying to ask you.
Well, isn't that what I've been telling everyone the whole time, pretty much, right?
Like, I mean, last week was a madness. So you were saying that.
I did. I told you guys. I mean, look, as I said, like when you've been through 40 different transfer windows, like you know how we move as a club, and you know the expectation obviously is
your mic slightly closer to your mouth, bro. Pause.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, put your mic closer to your mouth a tiny bit.
Okay, let me know if it's better. But yeah, I'm saying that in terms of getting signing-ins early, of course, as Arsenal fans, we always want, you know, to get players into the door early. And, you know, historically, we haven't done that, right? I think the only one is perhaps Kai Havertz that came in really early. And that's only because Chelsea needed to sell. Therefore, we had to rush the deal and get it done. I remember that.
Jesus and Zini, to be fair. Rice.
Jesus and Zini was it in June or July?
July. I was looking at it today, like July.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's my
Yeah, in June we don't get deals done, right? I think that's what I'm saying. Havertz is the only one that we've really gotten done so early in the past few years. So look, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. The signings, I mean, when everyone's kind of like over it because it's just been recycled so many times, like at least 50 times, or you know, back and forth with Real Madrid coming in and the newspaper stuff and all it, like it's been really, really boring. And it's unfortunate that that's how this transfer kind of feels, but it's a big one in my opinion. I mean, you know, 50 million on a midfielder, that's a large chunk of money, right? In any position.
I have to get another one.
I don't think so personally yet. I think we're still like, we're going to go deal with all the other stuff first before we get linked, and then I'll make my decision then. But like for now, I'm not going to give myself that hope. It's too early.
I hear you, chat. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to follow African Gooner on all his social media handles and whatnot. Don't forget to ask any questions if you've got anything. Like, love Arsenal, hate the ops, what a username has said. Power to the people in the chat. Hit the likes, please. Chelsea couldn't believe we were offering anything over 10 million for Havertz, so they snapped our hands off and moved in a hurry. And these lot say Chelsea also lost as well. This is a good question, and it's a slightly off topic. Yeah, Valera, appreciate you. Which Arsenal player attracted you to follow Arsenal, and which is the first Arsenal jersey you own? Like the video, guys. I'll let the guests deal with that first.
Yeah,
so first, let's start with the player.
I mean, it's a quite obvious one. I mean, people don't know a little bit of my backstory, but I grew up in South Africa and I went to a French school. So everyone around me was French. At the time, Arsenal was a very French team. Arsene Wenger, obviously, with a lot of French players. And even the African players were all from Francophone countries. So even the African players that played for Arsenal all spoke French. Eboué, you know, I can name a lot. Giroud, like, you know, there's a lot of players, Gervinho, that spoke French. So, you know, that's how I got affiliated with Arsenal when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I never looked back since then. And in terms of, I guess, the first name on the shirt, I have never been an Arsenal fan that got, you know, the name on the shirt. But I remember my dad bought me a shirt once when I was younger, and it had Arshavin. So that probably would be the one.
Big him up.
Yeah, the white kit with like the lines. I really liked it. I had the collar as well. It's an old kit, but yeah. Yeah.
For me, which Arsenal? Well, the first shirt I had probably 2002. To be fair, the home shirt probably 2002. Which Arsenal player attracted me? There's many, man. I'm an Invincibles baby, in it. Like there's many. It's a difficult question, but you put a gun to my head. Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp. Don't shoot me, people. I know you lot don't want to hear this name because he left. Ashley Cole. You asked the question. I'm giving an answer, man. Actually, they were everything, and there's plenty more. There's plenty more, man. So
absolutely,
yeah.
I think it was around a similar time. Me and you are quite similar. I mean, we're quite close in age. It was Invincible's time, right? Like the only real competition we had was Manchester United at the time.
They were the good days, man, and boy, well, hopefully the good days return. First shirt I had was Fabregas, but Anelka showed me Arsenal, and then Bergkamp and Henry showed me football. Fair enough, man. As long as you end up here, Ozil made me an Arsenal fan, so he's one of the younger ones. But you can't help when your mum and dad met each other and obviously conceived you, man. It's all good. It's all good. Evening, Harrison. Evening. My evening's good, man. It's a bit stuffy over here in the UK. You know, we get that annoying heat where it's just heat. There's not necessarily breeze, so it's just madness, but we're going to keep it moving, man. The show must continue, man. And I hope everyone in the chat's doing well. Let's park any transfer thoughts off for a second, yeah? Because as we know, a week's a long time in football. Since the last time me and you spoke, yeah, the transfer news has come out, but the fixture calendar list came out. Like, what was your first things when you read the fixture calendar list for you? Because you must have.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so Team News and Tix had kind of warned us a few hours before the fixture list had come out that it was going to be really bad. And when it came out, he was right. It was bad, probably as bad as it can get. But at the same time, DG, like, we know our luck, right? So again, like, why am I surprised? I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Like, it's just classic, you know, Arsenal. We're going to get a very hard, difficult fixture list compared to Man City, compared to Liverpool. And it really puts the test and the pressure on us to get our business done early. I mean, you know, a lot of people forget because in the recent seasons, we've been winning a lot of our first games. But in the past, at the end of Wenger and, you know, even under Emery, we never got our players in, man. We were never.
There was a period we actually lost the first games of the season.
Exactly. We would be losing the first few games. We'd be drawing, we'd be dropping points, and we'd be out of the title race, right? Like, we were always in a top 4 race. But if you want to be in a title race, you got to be winning your first 3, 4, 5 games. You got to be in the mix. If you lose and drop points in the first 5 games, you're pretty much already putting yourself against it. So I think it's really important. And I think it gives clarity and it puts the club a little under the spotlight because all the fans know that, look, it's June 20th, for example, and we know what's coming. So there's really no excuse now to pull a signing like Raheem Sterling at the end of the season, right? God forbid. Yeah, but that's the point. Like we have this information, they have this information, act on it, right? Like there's no excuse for you not to go and be prepared.
Where do you sit? Do you think it's a conspiracy why we've been given a tough run of fixtures in comparison to anyone else?
No, I wouldn't say it's a conspiracy because you know what I mean? They're supposed to supposedly use computers to do the fixtures, right? Like, so it might just be bad luck. I don't look at conspiracy and all that. I just think we're just unlucky, and I just expect us to be unlucky. So that's it.
I mean, the beautiful thing about football is everybody's got to play each other twice, isn't it? Like we could be crying about the start of this. There's probably people that might have a tougher end. And I always say, would you prefer definitely the first 2 months of the first 6 games, really? Would you prefer them at the start or at the end if you was given a choice? It depends on where you feel with that. I agree with the point in that obviously, regardless of us knowing the fixtures, we know we needed to get a move on in the market and do what needs to be done and fix up. But this has put a pressing need. Like obviously before the fixtures came out, you, probably everyone in the chat was talking about like the climate and the atmosphere around the Emirates and how it can turn very ugly very quickly off the back of last season and obviously how games would pan out. I do think Arsenal fans are exaggerating a bit. I feel we've got to act like we've been here before. I feel, yeah, you can say it's a tough run and we're going to have to get a move on, but difficult games always going to be there. And I feel for some Arsenal fans, which some of this isn't, well, a lot of this isn't wrong because facts are there, but people want to talk about our great defensive record, how great we are against the top 6, the fact that we scored 100 goals and all those positive statistics. So we should be filled with confidence. Now, I don't know if for a third year running, bro, we're going to have an unbeaten record against the top 6, but just based on the first 6 games, we ain't won in Anfield since a gazillion years, but we also haven't lost it away to them in a minute, really. So we should be confident there. Should be confident based off what we've shown with Man United. Manchester City will be a tasty affair. Newcastle is one that I'm like, oh, that's going to be a heated one. Both teams seem to be at it. But it is what it is. We got to start well. We really have to start well.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I hate it, to be honest. Like, honest, straight up, like, even we're saying Man U should be an easy game, but like, first game of the season, if they
You never
sign the
know.
players that they need, they're gonna have that. Like, you know what I mean? We're playing away. It's, so we struggle at Old Trafford. I know we've been playing better there, but we do historically
Got out
struggle.
of jail there last season.
Leeds United promoted, right? They're going to be really excited. So, and then Liverpool, as you said, we struggle. Nottingham Forest, we know is a good team now. They're competing right in the top half. They were competing for top 4 last season. Obviously, they dropped off, but I think again this season that they'll be in the top half of the table. Man City, we know what they are, and Newcastle are our nemesis that we just can't seem to beat.
I like the way you put that, nemesis. You're right.
But yeah, so August, September, really, I think by the end of September, we'll know how good our team is. I think by the end of September, we'll know if we're in a title race or not. So yeah.
How do you feel about, because obviously everyone's attention is drawn to United, Liverpool, Man City already there. But you could argue it's been the games at the Emirates, and I know every game's a cup final, everything's a must win, all that stuff in the Premier League. But it's also been the quote unquote winnable fixtures or games it should have panned out a lot better on paper than in reality. So I say that to ask you this: how do you feel about Nottingham Forest at home and Leeds at home in particular? Then
It's hard, DG. It's hard to tell when you don't know what the team is going to look like and you don't know if the tactics are going to change. Like, it's hard to predict and like forecast, right? Like how that's going to play out when you don't know what the team is going to look like. I mean, yes, on paper, of course, Arsenal is the strongest team. We should be beating every team. And, especially the smaller teams, those are the teams that we should be getting like, it's like under Wenger, right? You beat all the small teams 3-0, but then when it comes to the big teams, that's where
the
it
big
matters.
games was a write-off.
It's the opposite now. Like we do well against all the big teams, but then we struggle against the smaller teams that have a low block. They don't want to play against us, and they just want to sit and defend and hit us on the counter, right? So I think, it's going to be really interesting, but it's hard to tell now. Like, if I know what the team is and what the transfers are, like, maybe let's say 2-3 weeks before the season starts, or we see a little bit of preseason, I think it's really important. If you remember when we signed Jesus and Zinchenko in preseason, we were killing teams. I remember slapping up Chelsea. I still remember when Jesus dinked their keeper. Like, that was such a beautiful goal when Jesus scored. I think it was a hat trick. Jesus scored a hat trick in that preseason game, or he scored 2 goals. I remember he assisted in Ketia. But the point is, like, we had chemistry and we were so strong in preseason, and we brought that into the season. And I'm hoping that we can show some of those signs during this preseason, because last preseason we didn't. We struggled, right? Against Barca, we struggled against Man United, and then we started kind of the season slow, right? It wasn't the same start as previous seasons. So I want us to sign all the players, get them embedded in, start off strong, and carry that into the season, right? Like, if we're smashing up teams in preseason, Emirates Cup against Man U, I'm going in there very positive to say, hey, man, we're going to show these guys why they're.
You take that much stock in preseason?
A little bit, yes, especially considering the fact that we're playing strong teams, right? So we're playing our big rivals. So in my opinion, those are not going to be preseason games. Those are going to be very competitive games where we're playing in front of global fans, global audience.
You think it's going to be serious?
Yeah, of course, man. I think it's. I mean, why? Why wouldn't we? It's a competitive fixture, in my opinion. I don't know why we do it. I don't think it's a smart thing. It's obviously for money and to give other people an opportunity to see these games outside of England. But yeah, I'm expecting them to be rough fixtures.
I hear you. I don't think it's going to be as like the North London derby is not going to be anything close to a North London derby you might expect in the Prem. Obviously, it's going to be heated and all of that kind of stuff, but players are trying to get fit. Players are not trying to get injured. And on the point of
Romero slid Saka.
You're always going to get a little mad twat, but just in general, I don't think it's like that. But in the first 10 games, I think everybody's on an equal footing because everyone's essentially trying to get fitness. I think it's very different where you start to get to October and November. And let's just take Burnley, for example. They might have had a great, their previous games going into this, they might be in blistering form. They're in a bit of a sweet spot. They've got momentum. Everyone's trying to build that. So obviously, I don't think the first 6 to 10 games are easy. No game's easy in the Premier League, but it could be better. It could be worse, man. We could play a bunch of respectfully teams we should be winning, build up some false confidence, and get smoked. What are you saying on the fixture calendar list, my boy?
Boy. Well, listen. I'll say this: you have to play them twice, right? So you might
Fact, exactly what I said.
You might just get them out of the ways. Don't get me wrong. When I first saw it, I was like, "Raw, this is gonna be a tough start of the season." But listen. Respectfully, if we do want to win the league, we're talking about winning the league. We need to go out and show that we really are this type of team that can actually do this, right? So we're going to play them twice. Might as well go through them.
And I mean, from the first 6 fixtures, which is the one that like you're looking the most forward to and the least forward to?
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the Manchester City and the Newcastle games, because the reason why is because I want us to show that we've actually improved, right? I want us to show that last season wasn't just a fluke when we smashed Man City. I want us to show that, yes, we did beat Newcastle finally towards the end of the season, but we're absolutely consistently able to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So again, we spoke about this before, my brother, and this is a big season for Arteta, but for the club as well. We need to show that we're progressing. We need to make sure that the summer transfers are coming in and early. That's what I want to see. What about you? What about yourself?
Yeah, no, I was telling DG, I mean, like, this is probably one of the worst runs that we could have gotten, honestly. And I just told him, it's just our luck. Like, I'm not even surprised to see this. Like, right, I saw it a few hours before it even got announced.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, but the only way I see this is like a positive is like, it really just gives us no excuse. Like, we know what we have to do. Like, it's not even like, 2 weeks before the season starts. Like, it has to be a month before the season starts. We've got everything done. And the last 4 weeks are just like, okay, we're selling French players, Lokonga, Fabio Vieira. Like, we're just trying to find Reece Nelson. We're just trying to find those clubs that are willing to take these guys, right? Like, pull in some money back that that we spent, right? So that we.
For them, they probably want to be out of here before that.
Maybe, but I mean, if we don't get the prices, we shouldn't just sell just to get rid and move on. Like, we gotta be, strong. I know, like, it's a balancing act, right? It's always a balancing act. Like, you gotta. It's not like Reece Nelson or Nketiah where we wait and then we don't sell them and then their value goes down. Like, here, we know what their value is. I think we ask for slightly more and then we come down towards the middle ground where we're happy to be like, okay, 20 million for a Nelson, sure.
But that's the thing, is that I know we want to make as much money as possible for the players, but do other clubs classify them at that value that we classify them? And
don't forget, they might be cheap, but they might be on big wages.
That's what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather just get them out. We're trying to do a rebuild right now, and we want the best of the best. We want the best of the best, right? Every fan is complaining, Ben White and so are not world class. Okay, cool. Let's go get these world class players.
Expand on the rebuild. Because some would say, did that ever stop?
Oh no. When I mean rebuild, I mean, like, for example, we're at a level now and we need to surpass that level. We've got certain players that are average or just above average.
They can't swim in the deep oceans that we're now in.
Exactly, right? So we need to get rid of those and bring in the world-class players that we're talking about. And I said this to one of my other guys that I was speaking about. It was like, we're not an elite club. We're no longer an elite club. We're a big club. In order for us to get to that elite status again, we need to be winning Premier League at least twice. And we need to start competing in the Champions League year by year. Not just competing in it for the sake of, we're going to get Champions League money. No. Elite clubs don't do that. Big clubs don't do that. Look at Liverpool. Look at the summit.
I was watching a bit of Vert's interviews now. It must be nice, man.
Look at what they're doing. Right? They're showing you they won the Premier League last season. Instead of just resting on their morals, thinking, we've got a decent team. We might get this, we might get that. No. They went out and got the players that they need to get. Right? We need to do the same.
I mean, African Gooner has been touching on certain things, like in relation to we need to get rid of players. So I thought, let me go on Arsenal.com. Obviously, the obvious players are going to stay. Neto's gone. They ain't updated this. Raya, we'll skip through this. Kiwior is an interesting one. Like, do you not think he leaves? And what valuation should Arsenal be seeking if he cuts?
Personally, I would only see Kiwior leave if we can go and get Mark Guehi.
He looks like he's going Liverpool. You mentioned Liverpool.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
We have been linked with Guehi, to be fair.
Yeah, money talks, and if you can come in and show the ambition, so I'm like, listen, I want you to compete with the likes of Saliba and Gabriel. I want you to show me that you're better than them, and I'll play you. Show the wages as well. Look, if we've got Havertz on 265 or 270, whatever he's on, and we can't bring in Mark Guehi, who's going to be there for at least 5 years, we should get him. So Kiwior should stay. But if we can get Mark Guehi, listen, I'll ship him in. What do you guys think?
I mean, so on the Guehi thing, we've been linked for like 3 years now. Like, legitimately, 3 years you've been linked. And I think it's just going to be too expensive, in my opinion. And we're obviously seeing progression in terms of getting closer to signing Hato. Sorry, I'm trying to put myself on Do Not Disturb. 1 second. Yeah, there you go.
Busy guy, man.
Yeah, and and yeah, so I think probably closer to signing Hato than Gehi. I think we'll still be linked with him, but I think because we have to sign so many other players, like we'll go for Hato, who might be a bit cheaper, in my opinion, than someone like him. And also Diomande is going to Crystal Palace. That was someone else that we were linked with. So clearly we're going to get a center back. I just don't want to.
He's got a year left on his deal, though.
I hear you, right? But 50 mil, man, that's a lot of money. Like I don't want to see us spend 50 million on a defender. Like I think
is 50 mil that much in today's day and age?
It's not, but again, we need the players that we need and reinforcements that we're trying to go for. I'd rather spend that 50 mil on potentially getting a Rodrigo or
I hear you lot, yeah, but go on.
No, I was gonna say if we get everyone and then we go sign him for 50 million, no one's gonna say Jack, right? But if we go sign him first for 50 million and then we take long and we hear this, like we are debating if Gyokeres and Sesko are worth value for money, all that. No, people are gonna lose it. So it has to be the last signing, in my opinion, the center back. I mean, yes, maybe if we can get the deal done early, sure. But again, it goes back to what we were saying about last summer, right? Like, it's okay that you signed Calafiori, but because you didn't do the rest of the work at the end, then we come back and we look at you and we're saying, yeah, you signed a freaking 40 million left back and then you didn't sign anyone else. You have some blame there. Fans are going to be upset when we know what our priorities are. And that's what I'm battling with myself. It's like, yes, a signing might be available to come before, and he might not be the first choice. Like, we know we need a striker, a left winger, but the defender is ready to be signed now. Okay, fine, sign him, but make sure you go do the other work, because otherwise I'm going to come back and look at you different, right?
I hear you, but like that's what I mean with the 50 million thing. Naturally, we hear Arsenal are working with. I know people don't want to hear about a limited budget and they got to, be a bit flexible. And if they spend more in certain areas, they might not be able to do what they need to do in terms of profile in certain areas. But you look at Gerhi, he's been linked with 50 million. If Howson wasn't wanted by Madrid, we might have been able to get him. That's about 50 million. Victor Rice, who we tried to get in January, is probably 35 to 50 million. Hato is probably going to cost 35 to 50 million in the total package. So you can reckon Arsenal have the finances around that, if I'm honest. But how much do you think, if Kiwior says, I want to leave, for what it's worth, I don't want to sell Kiwior, but I could understand if Kiwior says, you know what, Gaffer, I know I'm not going to really get an opportunity with Gabriel Magalhaes or the capacity of football that I want. I want to leave. Fair enough. How much should we be looking at for Kiwior?
30 to 35 million. I mean, I think that's reasonable considering he had a good season. He performed really well against Madrid. I mean, I was ready to sell him. I think he's changed my mind, and I'll come out and say that. Like, I was very nervous, because I have trauma and scars from when Saliba got injured and we played Rob Holding and our whole season collapsed. And I've seen Callum Chambers and I've seen Carl Jenkinson and I've seen Mustafi and I've seen Socrates, and I've been scarred. So, I was really hesitant about Kiwior because he can make that odd mistake. But funnily enough, it was Saliba that was the one that was making mistakes. And I think Kiwior has done really, really well. So I would say, like, we're talking about being big boys. We're talking about being an elite club. We're talking about Andrea coming and fixing our selling. This is now what we need to show, right? Like, Kiwior is not a player that has a bad history, that has a bad contract, that has everything around him associated with him is good, and we've cleaned up a lot of shops. So there shouldn't be any excuses about selling him cheaper. Like players like Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, and stuff, I'll make excuses because we have bad history with them, and you know what I mean. Like we just want to get rid of them. But with someone like Kiwior, if we are to sell, to AC Milan or to an Italian team, we got to maximize and get 35 or 30 million, in my opinion.
I'm saying 40. With a little sell-on clause. Like he's got better in front of him.
Plus add-ons.
Yeah, but the only thing is, them Italian clubs are going to be like, oh, we haven't got money. Can we have a loan with an option to buy? And they're going to do all of that. If he goes to a Premier League team, that's another different thing. But it seems like Kiwior has a market. I think he needs to stay, especially with Tierney gone. Don't know if Tomiyasu could be defined as reliable. Zinchenko's obviously going to cut. I think we need to have depth. Like, I know we don't want too many players, but we always go down to apologies. We always go down to our bare bones versus like having some players that might be on the bench far too long and they're complaining about first team football. I don't think we're ever overstocked, is what I'm saying. So it's quite interesting. I want to go back over with Partey. Obviously, these midfielders are staying apart from one, but we'll get back to him. Martinelli, he's been linked with a move away. How much do you get realistically for him?
Okay, let's clear this up firstly, right? So people love to misquote stuff, right? Just because they want push their narrative. the article never said that we want to sell Martinelli, right? People will love to push that out there as soon as they saw it. But we said potentially, and also it's not the first time. Like this was reported a month and a half ago that Arsenal could potentially sell one of Leandro Trossard and Martinelli. But people again love to push their narrative, like they see something and they don't like Martinelli, so they're like, yeah, this journalist said that we're looking to sell Martinelli, which is not the case. So I want to clear that up because I think it's unfair to push out narratives that really don't exist, right? Potentially means like, yeah, if someone comes and gives us 70 million, yeah, we'll consider it. But we know that, like, it's not like we're trying to actively sell him, right? So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that's
What
true.
sort of fee could we be looking at for Martinelli though?
Again, 60 mil minimum. 60 mil minimum, because again, I know that the fan base gets onto Martinelli in terms of he's wearing a neck brace and he only heads down. But personally, I believe he needs to be played in a central attacking position up front. He started off as a striker. He came to us as a striker, and then he got converted to the left wing. And you can see the fact that he just runs straight. He literally runs in angles, in right angles, in 90 degrees. Right, it would be best for him to start up front. But again, people and clubs can actually see the potential in him, and I am sure that if you start playing Martinelli up front in a La Liga or even a Serie A, you're going to get some good numbers from him.
But do you really think we'll get 60 mil with them wages?
He's not on the high.
But he's on 180, 190,000. Even if you wanted to take a chance on Martinelli.
180. No way.
Yeah,
okay, that's a lot.
But the thing is, like what you just said there, I think it's like 10 minutes ago, DG. It's like 50 mil. 50 mil is like 180 now. That's the average now.
Yeah, 180.
Yeah, but then I'm looking at it the other way. Like if you're buying Martinelli, all right, cool. I might think, you know what, maybe he can play up front. Maybe he's better on the transition. Maybe Arteta is doing something with him. Let's take a chance on this lad. I've got 40, 50 mil, and I might just be a mid-side club. I might be a La Liga club. The fee might not be an issue. But then I'm like, oh, 180, 190 a week. You're probably going to be my top earner potentially at my club. So is it really that feasible?
Yeah, listen, it is, because, for example, what you could do is that the club that's buying Martinelli, they could pay maybe, let's say, 100 grand of the wages, and then Arsenal will pay 80 grand of the wages for a certain amount of time. You can do that. That's what clubs tend to do. You know, especially when you want to balance the books, and you know that you're probably going to get into certain competitions, you're going to go far. You can do that for a couple of years. So I think there's still a player in there. And clubs still think there's a player in there. Like Barcelona was linked with him. Barcelona were looking at him. A couple of other teams were looking at him as well. But yeah, 60 mil. I think 60 mil. I think you'd be able to get that. Maybe 50. You give me 50 and we'll start negotiating.
For what it's worth, I'm keeping Martinelli. If nothing more, you need to be a squad player, innit? Like I've been crying about depth. I think it's too easy. I think fans, I'm not saying we've got the best squad. Clearly, we need to upgrade. Unless your name is probably Miles Lewis-Skelly, Bukayo Saka, Saliba, Magalhaes, Rice, and players of that ilk, everything's subjective. But it's all fun and games saying, I don't like Kai Havertz isn't good enough, sell him. Martinelli stagnated, sell him. Odegaard's not the captain, sell him. Once you start going through the whole squad and doing that, you don't have a squad. So then we're barely getting some over the door. We're not going to see 10 man come in, 10 man get sold. It's not Football Manager or FIFA. That's why I asked, because I just wanted, with what you lot are saying around Kiwior and obviously Martinelli, I just wanted to know a ballpark figure in that, what would get the club or whet the club's appetite. Jesus, even though he's not going, where you like?
I mean, so sorry, just on the Martinelli one quickly. The last point is when he signs a new contract, I'll just say a lot of people are gonna cry. But yeah. So in terms of Jesus, look, he's obviously come out with a video today about his training and rehabilitation. He's putting a lot of focus, trying to get back into the swing of things. I don't think Arsenal sell this guy. Let's be real. We're a very nice club as well. This guy's gonna come back in January. And we're going to give him 6 months to at least prove himself before we sell him. I don't think we pulled the trigger on him straight away. I think, you know, he definitely gets his opportunity to see if he can make something happen for 6 months. And then we probably sell him next summer, in my opinion. I don't think anything's going to happen till then. And he might surprise us.
Yeah, personally, I'd keep him. You know, I think what the frustration was, we were seeing Gabriel Jesus as the main striker. Right, that's what we were seeing. That's what we were thinking. Oh, come on, like we want you to.
That's what the club brought him in initially to do.
Yeah,
to be fair. I thought it was naive.
Yeah, and it was naive, but at the same time, the form that he had before he got injured at that World Cup was tantalizing.
Yeah, that was first 6 months.
He came on a mission. He came on a mission.
And the thing is, And the thing is, I think you guys need to remember as well is that Real Madrid were after him as well. Arteta told him, it's like, listen, I want you to be my number 9. He's a confidence player. Certain players are confidence players.
Yeah,
you tell him, listen, I believe you're the best. You're going to be my number 9. You're going to score goals. And you can feel that confidence when he first came. Once he got that injury, confidence got zapped. And he started to see it again just before he got injured again. Do you remember? He started scoring 6 goals against Palace and Bolton. You started to see that confidence re-emerging and then, boom, injury again. So I think we need to keep him because last season, us bringing on Sterling, who done absolutely nothing, I'd rather see us bring on a Jesus because he can play on the wings. You know, it's very versatile across that front three line. So I would personally keep him, but it's just the wage. The wage is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, and if he's I know everyone's a confidence player, and I don't want to be harsh on everyone, but I would more be at this point in the project. I'm more accepting of if Wanyeri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, even young Calafiori is quite young. I can't accept that for Jesus, man. You can't get too excited when things are going wrong. I mean, right? You can't get too negative when things are going wrong. We're not selling Jesus anyways. Like, I agree with you. Like, if anything, you see after the rehab, he is a decent player. We just need him to stay fit. But unfortunately, I think the writing's on the wall. Leandro Trossard. Because he's 1 minute he's signing the deal, then he's cutting, then he's signing the deal.
Again, you're talking about squad depth, right? Talking about squad depth, and again, he does the best when he comes on as an impact sub. When he starts to start too many games, he starts to fall off. But when he comes on as an impact sub, he's got great technique. He can shoot. I think he's one of the best finishers in our squad, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. I'll keep
but
him.
He's come down in form this season. I don't know.
Yeah, it's come down in form, but again, like, you know, one of those situations where we're playing in the cup, we need someone to kind of come on and change the game. And plus, how much are you going to get for Trossard if we do so?
But shouldn't that be the role of Nwaneri and McDowman, right? Like, in my opinion, like, I feel like if we want to improve and like, we have to sell one of Martinelli and Trossard. Like, it's the only two.
Dalman will get his minutes. The man's 16, bro. You're not going to see him play twice in a week, 3 times in 10 days.
We want to sign a left winger, right? So where's the left winger going to come in if we don't sell one of these two? Plus Dalman coming in, plus Nwaneri getting minutes.
Dalman is talented, but he's 15, 16. He's going to get minutes. You're not in the immediate first team yet.
The point is, people are
and he's probably going to be a century based player.
People are saying we're not going to sign a Cam because he's being promoted to the first team. I'm not saying that he's going to play every game. The point is he fills a position in the squad, and we want a thin squad. So when we're looking at getting a winger,
I can say we've got a thin squad, but then you're saying sell Trossard, for example.
No, we have a thin squad, but we have to buy. Just because you sell them doesn't mean like what. So you're saying we can't sell players. Just
I'm not saying you're wrong, but like, all right, cool. We've got this left winger, whether it's Rodrigo or whatever. Bearing in mind, there's 38 games by September to December. There's going to be a lot of football, and there might be games where the starters are doing their thing. If there's injuries, suspensions, it's just not working. We need depth. And you mentioned the bench. We've cried about how weak our bench is, and this is all assuming everybody is fit. I'm not saying you're wrong to say sell Trossard, but sell Trossard just so Wanyeri and Dalman can get more minutes. In theory, I don't necessarily agree with that. I hope they can get minutes. I'd bring them on, but why can't all 3 of them be on the bench?
That's what I'm trying to say.
The fact is that if we're paying a lot of wages, then that's the point. The point is we're paying these guys 180 for Martinelli. I don't know how much Trossard is on, right?
They want to give Trossard a new deal. Apparently,
but the new
deal. You want to give Trossard a new deal?
Yeah, but again, let's talk about all the details, right? The deal is that he doesn't get an increase in his salary. The deal is that it doesn't increase his number of years at the club. It's just to increase his salary to reflect his performance at the club. So basically, as of today, we are just going to extend by 1 year and give him a higher wages. That's it.
That don't make no sense if that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's why I'm saying we may as well get rid of him because we're going to have to pay him higher wages. Just give him to Saudi or someone else so we can spend the money elsewhere.
Yeah, to be honest, you're right, because I think that's the reason why the negotiations for Partey broke down, because he wanted more than 200 grand. But at the same time, I agree. If you do want to give on, another contract where you're able to trigger the extension for 1 more year.
Bearing in mind, we're talking about winning now, Dalman will get his minutes, but if we're saying win now, probably keep holding Trossard.
We need that. Like, do you know what it is? I remember when Man United first done the treble in 1999, and they had 4 strikers, 4 different types of strikers. They had Sheringham, Andy Cole, Dwight York, right?
Yeah.
And each one of them can do different things. Sometimes you saw Solskjaer playing on the right. Sometimes, and the thing about Trossard, he's not just a left wing. He can play up
plays
front.
across
He
the
can
front
play
too.
false 9. He can play as a 8/10 almost. He can play on the right. And this is what we need, guys, especially for one more year, especially because this is the writing on the wall. I would rather us be stacked with squad depth, even if we said, you know what, he might not be playing or he might not be needed, but we're stacked just in case another injury crisis happens like last season. We weren't ready for last season. We need to be
No,
ready
of
for this
course.
season.
But
Anything else apart from a win is a failure. You know this, my bro.
yeah, but Martinelli also plays. I know what you're saying. Yeah, you can't compare also with Martinelli because of the experience, and that's why I think Arteta trusts Trossard to do that more than not because Martinelli can't do it, just because Trossard has that experience and the maturity, you know, not to lose his head in certain areas of the pitch, right? Like because he has that know-how, whereas Martinelli's still young and he's still kind of, you know, this energetic bunny that sometimes might not follow the exact tactics, in my opinion. I think that's the only reason Arteta doesn't trust him, because we should have played Martinelli as a striker already. I don't know why we haven't done that, in my opinion, right? So look, it's a tough one.
If he wanted to, man.
What, the striker thing with Martinelli?
Well, yeah, he would have run that if he really believed. I don't disagree. I'd love to see Martinelli through the middle. We saw it against Liverpool. It could be an option, but I have to assume, because I haven't seen it on a consistent basis. When I've seen Marino go up there, I've seen Havertz up there, I've seen Eddie Nketiah up there, I've seen Jesus up there. We hope we see a Gyokeres or Sesko up there. I'm not saying that Arteta might be planning it. I don't think he thinks right now or in the immediate future that's a thing for Martinelli. But I wanted to ask on Nelly, and this is coming from one of his biggest lovers. Can we still do the whole he's young thing? He needs the left-hand side thing. Don't get twisted. We need to address that left-hand side on many different levels. But can them things still run?
No, I don't think it can, because when you got the likes of Doué, when you got the likes of Kvaratskhelia, when you got the likes of other wingers that are coming in and doing their thing at a younger age or a similar age, you have to start putting it on Martinelli. You know, 2 years ago, it was like, okay, we can give you that excuse. But now we're looking around, we're seeing even the likes of Gakpo. Gakpo come in, first season, adapted really well, really well after the first 4 months. What's giving you the excuse of you being here for like 5-6 years and you're not able to do the same? There's only so much we can give you now, right? Yes, he's talented.
Might just have to accept him for what he is still.
But that's the thing. If we're gonna
the good,
accept
the bad,
that,
and the ugly.
but if we're gonna accept that, then there's no point you being at the club, because we don't want that. Look, we're sitting here.
If he's not being used, in, like, firstly, I acknowledge what you said. And by the way, Martinelli was the Doué and Barcola and stuff when he first came. He was at that level, right? So the fact that he's gone down, is that on him or is that on the management? Yeah, Martinelli was scoring.
He wasn't at that level.
You know, when he came in, come on, like he was doing well. He was scoring way more than now.
I'm sorry, he weren't. I'm sorry.
Do you know what it is?
I'm sorry, he weren't. He was cold. Don't get twisted.
He come in. He showed a bit of talent, right? And then for that one season where Man City came back and we bottled the league basically 2 seasons ago.
And,
right?
and why did he do well in that season? Tell me, because I know.
Why did he do well? Why did he do well? Why did he
do faster on the transition? We're actually playing flipping forward.
He had someone to combine with. He didn't have to just run up and down and do all
surely them things have run out now.
I can't. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, my bro? Right? Is that whilst I do agree with that, you know, they had someone overlapping, and you are a player with so much talent. You know what people were saying about this guy? People were saying
Sanchez, Luis
Suarez.
People
were comparing him. I saw Rivaldo.
Klopp said talent of the century and that, and I love Martinelli. I ain't selling him for
I love Martinelli, right? But
it's the squad bench thing.
Exactly. Even Rivaldo, the legend, Brazilian legend, said that he dribbles like R9. Yeah? Okay? I do not want to hear one of my best wingers on 200k, 800, 180k, right? And you're telling me he needs certain things to happen and this and that. The best players do it under any circumstances.
Within reason, yeah.
You have to do it now.
There's a player that... Do you know what it is? I'll be real, yeah? I don't want to sell Martinelli, but a part of me feels... Because of... And it's not a criticism of Arteta or Martinelli. It's just it is what it is with the intricate system and all of that. A part of me feels he would do a lot better if he left and he would... You know, quick on the transitions. Even when you look at his last highlights in the last 2 years, you know, the Liverpool one, 3 years, Liverpool, Sporting Lisbon, Real Madrid. A lot of it is on Chelsea. A lot of it is when the games are open and he's got that space. When we're doing this intricate thing, that's when I think he's got too much to think about. And it's annoying with Martinelli because he's clearly got a good attitude. He's clearly a good lad. I think his issue is like, if there's 3 actions to score a goal, right, lads, yeah, I think he's a sort of man. He will make a run, like to take a man with him. He'll make a run into space. So that's the first action. His first touch will be good. But then when you get into that final third and you need to slot in the near post, the far post, get your head up and cross it or pass it or whatever, that's where he struggles. And when I'm saying that, I was thinking about Spurs away. So I'm starting to feel like we just have to accept Martinelli for what he is at this current moment in time.
Yeah.
Like, that's just me.
But
I love
also
him.
he needs to improve. Why hasn't he improved? Like, that's my other perspective, is that
Also, yeah, that's why I'm accepting him for what he is.
It's the
Everyone
club's
else has improved.
responsibility as well to make sure that he's improving. We know his frailties, right? Like, it's been 2-3 years. We're talking about decision making. We're talking about crossing with the left foot. We're talking about why does he cut in and shoot? Like, you know, all these things. Like, he's not improving on those things. Is it because he's in the wrong system? Sure, but also, like, part of me is like, he needs to be improving in training, and maybe that's not happening. I don't know where to place that blame.
That's what I think. I have to agree with that, because look, the Saka that we see this season is not the Saka we saw last season, right? The Saka that we see this season, that the season just gone, it was matured. Like, he was not only going in the left, he was going on the right as well. He was shooting a lot more. He was going into central areas a lot more. Saka last season, the season before that, he was just staying on the right and kind of, you know, trying to assist, but he wanted to add goals. Martinelli, it's not like Martinelli ain't had chances, guys. Martinelli has had the same amount of chances for him to be scoring at least 10 goals this season.
Got the amount of games. Because even with all the, you know, obviously, what, the 2022-23 season, he was out of this world. We did try and sign Mudryk that year. Obviously, it didn't work out, but that could tell you an inkling as to where Arteta and Arsenal feel we need to address to get to the next level. But you fast forward the 2 years, whatever we say about Martinelli, he's still playing. So the manager clearly rates him. The manager clearly likes him. So there's got to be something there, and you're still playing. I just feel it's a squad player thing. Like, until you improve, you can get games and starts and that, but you're part of the squad. I'm not selling you, but our problem is, if we want to go to the next level, we've got squad players and we're trying to make them do stuff that first team regulars should be doing, and so on and so forth. It's like when we got Giroud to replace Robin van Persie. Obviously, Giroud was a good player. Passing on from Robin van Persie is going to be a difficult act, but we're looking at you to be the 20 goal man. It's not going to happen. You're good when you're rotated in the squad. You're a facilitator, like how he was when France won the World Cup, or I don't want to talk about it, but what he did at Chelsea, so on and so forth. I think that's an issue with us, man. It's an issue. There's a player there, man.
And another thing as well, just before we continue, you need to remember he's playing on the left to cut in. When you're cutting in, you're looking to score goals. You're looking to
exactly.
to make key passes. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. I would rather say, Martinelli, you start playing on the right, so you can just cross it in and just do what a normal winger does.
But we know that's never going to happen because
then I get it. Then get rid. I'm sorry, there's no point.
No, but then making a squad player where you bring him on, and by the way, I think 2 things. One, I think Zubimendi improves Martinelli because he'll be able to play over the top balls and break, like, passes through the lines in behind for Martinelli, in my opinion. And I also think it's healthy competition, and I'm hoping that, like, whoever we bring at the left winger that's going to start is going to get him more competitive, going to give him fresh ideas, and he's going to have to step up, right? I don't think Trossard, I don't think it gives the same effect, and I'm hoping that will play in our benefit.
No,
I hear it. And before I close this page, how much are we getting for Fabio Vieira? Not make Messi the other day,
but they made a terrible pass.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's and by the way, I watched the highlights of him. He looks like, you can't tell me that this guy would not have helped us last season, bro. Like, honestly,
not in this league. Not in this league.
When we was down to our bare bones by default, bro.
Bare bones. You have no creative players. You have only Ethan Waneri. This guy can break the lines with the pass. You can play him behind. He makes the through ball. He's different than Odegaard, by the way. He's way more direct than Odegaard. But yeah, I hear it. Like, we don't rate him. 30 million. Probably what we're gonna get.
Not in this league.
Or Wolves.
If we get 30 million, Berta, you deserve a pay rise already.
Yeah, for real. Million. Because I'm saying 20 mil. I think we'll get 20 mil.
We got to break even. 30 mil for what we paid. Pay us what we paid. He hasn't gone down from what we got him, right? Or I think he's still the same player.
He might even have to go on loan again, man. Poor you want to keep him for another year.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though. Clubs have realized is that he's not that type of player that can play in a top league, right?
Because I don't think the Prem's for him. I think he's a player. He definitely can play ball, but he just
Nah,
What
I think
Arteta wants, Arteta's all anyone that's gone to the games. He was one in particular. Arteta was always shouting that you got to do all the other stuff rightly
Then
or
why
wrongly.
did we sign him? Why did we spend 30 million on him when we
It just
knew
it just fucked up. It went wrong in it. We probably
yeah,
bought him a
it
year, like with Lokonga. We probably bought him a year too early. Tried to find guys that could emerge. It just ain't worked, in it.
But he didn't
It
even
just
get a
hasn't worked.
fair chance. He didn't even get a fair chance at the club, and he
Why
wasn't even
aren't you
playing
getting
in
a
his
chance?
position. Sorry?
Why aren't you getting a chance?
What do
Life
you mean?
isn't fair. If life was fair, me,
Yeah, I
you,
know,
and
but I
everyone here
mean,
would
like,
have a lot less.
if you're gonna judge a player, you gotta at least play the guy for 5-6 times in a row consecutively to actually make a. I haven't even been able to make my own opinion on him because I haven't seen him enough. It's
Come
like Michael
on,
Vieira.
come
I mean, let's
on,
be
come
honest.
on,
Like, come
come
on, it's been like
on, come
2
on,
years.
come
Let's be
on.
fair, guys.
every
Come
single
on.
on.
time he's come on. Do you know what it is, right? Do you know what it is? Because I think someone in the chat said David Silva did it. Why can't Vieira?
Exactly. He's
David,
25, bro.
David Silva came in and adapted. David Silva didn't seem like he was
Dante,
out of place.
Mata, Bernardo
Yeah.
Silva. Forget quality for a sec. They're all the same in terms of their stature and whatnot. The Prem's just not for him. He's just not with it.
It's just not with it. Like every single time I've seen him come, he seems like
And all the options were better. Like when he signed, we were fighting for a league. All the other dons were better. Where are you getting this chance?
I mean, yeah, honestly, it's hard for me to really judge him fairly because I don't think he got a real opportunity, in my opinion.
Come
But
on.
I hear it. Like, no, I hear it. I hear that he's not good enough, but like at the same time, I also think he's been done dirty a bit, in my opinion. So like, I don't have any bad feelings towards him.
No, he's not a bad player. I don't. It just ain't worked. It just ain't worked out. It just ain't worked out.
Yeah.
Should have pulled the trigger a long time ago if it didn't work out.
What about Lokonga?
He's in Dubai right now. He's chilling. We extended his contract by 12 months, so I'm hoping
to sell him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that means we are trying to sell him. I don't know, probably 20 mil, 15, 20 mil.
If we got 20 mil for Lokonga, that's another one. But you deserve a pay.
We need to. What are we saying here, guys? We can't be getting rid of these players, young players, for 10, 12 million. Like, no, man.
Who is rising? I'm not saying that these guys won't leave and be bullish.
Yo, didn't companies sell this guy to us? Let's go back to him and Bayern and say, hey.
Yeah,
bro,
you're right. He told us he was the next Yaya Toure. Take him and show us that he is, and then put a sell-on clause. But 20 mil for Lokonga? Year left on his deal? 20
mil. No, he has more. I think maybe I guess he has a year left.
We're asking for a lot. No, we're not asking for a lot, but we are. I was disappointed. Lokonga, I think I don't mean mentality and that his attitude is rubbish and all of that. I think it's a mentality thing. I know footballers are humans, but I think you've got technique. I just don't think you're mentally for the Prem. Another one who we tried to be a bit smart. We effed up, which probably probably took you out the oven before you was ready, essentially. Just not with it. Nelson. Yeah, we know he's gone, but fee.
Nah, I don't even expect anything, honestly. I mean, 12, 15 million again.
I think it's a 15.
Cheap as possible, just get him. Even 10 million, just get him.
You know he's going to go back to Fulham so he could chill with Iwobi and Smith Rowe. You just know.
Apparently they want him. It's all rumors, of course.
A play out.
Yeah, man, I'll take anything.
And for all three of them, it's sad because I want to see you lot all do well. I'd love it to be at my club, but I want you lot to go somewhere else, have a bit of stability, and ultimately thrive. Because, well, admittedly, out of the three, I think Fabio Vieira's got the highest technical level. I think Nelson, the penny could drop, but he's another one that gets shagged with injuries. And it's a World Cup year. I don't think you're going for England. I definitely don't think you're going for Portugal. 1,000,000%, I don't think you're going for Belgium. But you just never know in this life, you know.
You don't.
Wishing you the best, man. Wishing you the best. Let's go back to the fixture.
Vieira has a chance. Vieira might have a chance if he has a crazy season. He could.
You gotta have a crazy season.
No chance.
I hope so for him. I hope so.
Of course. But we want the best for them.
I don't know, man. Like, because Fabio Vieira. He's like I said,
under 21 player of the tournament. I think for the Euros when Portugal played, when he was playing for the under 21s, he was the player of the tournament.
But he done the thing. He done his thing.
This is the same guy, but remember, like
saying that 4 years ago.
Nketiah scored the most goals in under 21s, and then he comes.
No, fair enough.
It just don't correlate, man. It is what it is.
That's funny because people used to use the Nketiah thing on me all the time, and I'm like, dude, I watched the guy. I know. So yeah,
it's difficult. Enough. Where do you lot think is the toughest? But this is the last thing I want to ask you lot on the transfer front. Yeah, the fixture front. What's the month you lot are like? Ooh, interested to see what happens there.
For me, it has to be September, October. September, October is one of the hardest stretch because if you go back to September, October quickly, there you go. So boom, we've got Forest, Manchester City, Newcastle. That's a
Nasty
hard month.
fixtures.
Hard month, and then West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace again, hard. So those 2 months there is gonna set us up.
I hear what Pat's saying.
Well, always December and March.
Yeah,
I hear that, but look, just look at those run of fixtures.
For me, it's December, January, purely because we would have played a lot of football. The League Cup starts to come into it. Champs is coming into it. There's unfortunately there's going to probably be injuries, and players are tired one week and they have to go again. And obviously, we just look at the sheer amount of games, and some of them they're coming thick and fast. So naturally, for me, it's the December. Really, it's November to coming out of January, but I'd say the December, January period for me.
Because look, if you look at the December, I know what you're saying, bro. But if you look at the December, January period, which hard teams, but if we do well.
I'm saying the volume of games, bro.
No, I hear that. But if we do well during September and October and give ourselves a nice pedestal, we can rotate a little bit more, right? We can have the option to rotate a little bit more. Because look, that's like 6 games. That's like 6 games in 1 month there, right? So if we're doing well, we've got enough points already. That will give us more of an intention to rotate more. Be willing.
You said September, October, right? Let's just assume we got positive results here. So now September, October has been played. What games? Obviously, we ain't signed certain man and all these things here, but just humanly, where's the rotation coming?
Burnley, Sunderland, Brentford, Wolves, Everton, Bournemouth.
Everton away.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Again, this is what we're talking about. Look. See, the thing is, see what you said.
We need the bodies,
but you see that. You see what you said there. See what you said there. This is.
But I'm going strong against Everton. We don't do well at Goodison Park statistically.
Rotate like 1 or 2 players. We're not saying
not a full rotation. When I mean rotation, I don't mean a full 11 for 11. I mean like maybe 2 or 1, like just like my bro said.
Like Saka gets a break.
Like,
I don't know, man. Saka, I'm with Arteta. You're playing as many minutes as Hakan. I can't lie to you.
Well, the thing is if we get another winger, then that's the whole point. The whole point is that in games like that, we can take off Saka and put Martinelli on the line.
I'm with that. Kill the games and take man off and all these things.
Well, I don't know about kill the games. I think maybe sometimes we gotta give a break.
Nah, we need to learn to kill games, man. That's been our problem. We've got 14 draws.
4 years without giving him a break. He got injured, and then now we're saying next season we're gonna play him every game. I don't know, man.
He's gonna play a lot, man. We do need to be cute and clever, but we can't talk about win now mode and not like, bro, the best players play week in, week out, essentially. That being said, Arteta does have to learn to rotate. And when games are killed, there are moments you can rest Saka for 45 minutes here, 45 minutes here. Like there might be 2 games in a week. You've taken him off. I'm exaggerating, but he's come off at half time, equivalent to 90-minute rest. And we all know those hamstring injuries were thingies, man. They were very.
It never makes. When's the last time we ever made a halftime substitution? I don't think I've seen.
No, I'm just saying that broadly. It could be 45, it could be 60, it could be 20. Arteta has to learn.
It's a good thing, but it's something that I need to see Arteta doing. Like, yes, at halftime, like if we are winning a game 2-0 and we can rest someone, like pull the trigger, man. Like make the sub. That's part of the improvement I hope to see next season.
I just wanted to ask something here, because we talk about Saka playing so many games, but for the likes like Mbappe's been playing so many games. Almost
all these men play their games. There's a wider conversation about resting players and player welfare, but this is the reality of the world now, man.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to ask. Like, do you really think it's that? Because look,
it's hard to compare, right? Like, because every player is different, and everyone, like people, like you see how they're making the, like we were talking about this earlier, right? About Ethan Nwaneri saying like he can't handle the physical, like. So I guess every player has their own, capabilities, or like they can only push themselves to a certain limit, and like that's part on the medical team to kind of do all that analysis, and they have all the data to be like, okay, well, this player could only play this much, or like we should, I'm not a scientist, but like I know there's a team that does that, right? We just got to be mindful of how we utilize that. You're right, of course, like Mbappe, Vinicius, all these players, they play every single game, but we can't compare like all these players because they're not all going to have the same injuries. They don't all have the same body. Also, the Premier League is way more physical, right, than La Liga, for example. Like Vinicius doesn't get, well, actually, probably Vinicius gets challenged as much as Saka. But I mean, some other players maybe don't, right? And they don't get knocked as much and don't get kneed as much. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm making an excuse, but that's how I see it.
No, I do think people, my personal opinion, people exaggerate a lot about we need to rest and all of these things. And I think it's overstated. But there is legitimate claims. We need to be cute and clever with that regards, man. We need to kind of wrap certain man in cotton wool. And I'm no physio, as African Gooner said, but it doesn't surprise me. The players who got the hamstring injuries because of the minutes they played, not just this season, but the seasons prior for club and country. The reality is it's only going to get worse. The people that control the games that me and you and everybody love, there's only going to be more fixtures. There's only going to be more at international level, which we're seeing. There's only going to be more as soon as the season stops. So for me, I think the broader conversation is just having bigger depth. As we close out this stream here, I want to run through some transfer stuff with you lot quickly. Finally, Zubimendi's in London. What did you lot make of it as it appears to be getting over the line? I didn't think we get it, lads.
I was never scared.
Yeah, me neither.
Honestly, I was never scared. I was never sid. Like it got announced in January. And I personally think they already foresaw that Partey might not accept that 200 grand. They foresaw that. They probably knew that, Partey is probably going to say no. So let's get this in nice and early. Fabio announced it. A couple of the sources that I've got around the club.
Another ITK.
So
got two on the platform, people.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I wasn't scared. Never scared.
Yeah, no, I think similar for me. We knew that it was done pretty much. Like I think it was a lot of scaremongering and just like regular Arsenal fan stuff. Like again, we've gone through so much turmoil and we have so many scars. And
we're free clicks, Arsenal fans, man.
Like just because he changed his mind last season, everyone was certain like, oh, he's gonna change his mind. He's gonna change his mind, and we even heard right from the reliable hand of Arsenal that
big him up.
He had signed a contract, right? Basically, that if he breaks that contract and he goes to Madrid, and Real Madrid would have to pay a hefty fine. So, I mean, yeah, for me, it was quite clear and obvious. What I'm only surprised about is the fact that no one tracked his plane and no one knew that he was actually in London. Because usually we know that, right? We know the clouds formation. We know everything. I mean, I've
maybe our fans are growing up a bit, man. They got to work.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but or it was just hidden really, really well. I think it's probably the latter more than us getting bored, because I don't think we get bored of Arsenal transfers. So, yeah, man, it's a good signing, 50 million, and I'm excited to see what he does. He's going to help dictate our tempo. He's going to increase, the amount of.
I'm bullish about his signing, man. I think he's going to be good for us.
Someone said in the chat, I don't think we need Zubimendi personally. I think it's a pointless signing. Really?
What's your lot's rebuttal to that?
Listen, African Gooner, go ahead, my bro.
I was gonna say, we don't have anyone who can turn on the ball. Like when our center defensive mid goes and collects the ball from Saliba and Gabriel, Declan Rice is usually might be that guy, and Odegaard is that guy sometimes on the left, on the right side, right? We struggle to turn and start going forward. We take way too long. We make like 3, 4, 5 passes before turning and looking forward. Zubimendi is that guy who will get the ball, turn, and make that first pass. Like he will punch the ball really quickly and put it straight onto the front foot, which is what we need, because we take so long that the smaller teams settle and then they put their low block, and by the time we're ready and we turn and we face them, they have 11 players behind the ball. We are trying to break them down. We don't have a single player bar Odegaard who doesn't do it enough to actually go and make those through passes in between that, the block. Or we also don't have a player that's going to go dribble 3 of those guys, get someone to try and come tackle him, and that opens up space to put someone in behind to put them one-on-one. We don't have.
Don't you think some of that is by design, though? Like, I hear what you're saying, but don't you think some of it is by design by Arteta? How slow he is?
Arteta always to have Zubimendi, right? And we went for him last year, and then we settled with Mourinho. So I think this is just like we waited a whole year just to get that, and we may have changed our tactics this season to fit what we had because we couldn't get Zubimendi, in my opinion. And I'm hoping that during preseason with him, we're going to see a slightly different approach on the way we go for games. And my hope is, guys, that when we're leading 1-0 against teams, we're not sitting back anymore, right? Because now we have someone that can just like give us that confidence that, hey, you know what, he's gonna just be that little destroyer, and then you have
Got to play it by ear, man. There's some games I want us to be able to go for the kill at 1-0 up. There's some games I think we have to be a
with
bit
him, we should have the confidence to be able to go and do that and push two attacking players. Let Declan Rice go forward more. Declan Rice is gonna have so much more freedom, which is gonna help Martinelli or whoever that left winger is, and then hopefully we got a damn striker who can finish his dinner, and then you got a serious team, man.
Do you not worry, that it's like obviously as I think Zubimendi is going to work. I can see how it bangs. I'm wanting all of that stuff, but he has to be given an opportunity to adapt to the league, the system, his teammates, all of that. If we let Partey go, aren't we a bit light in midfield? Because you've got Zubimendi adapting, you've got Rice in the 8, you've got Odegaard who's not quite in that role. God forbid they don't get injured. Yes, Miles Lewis-Skelly can play in there, but we haven't seen that yet. And such is Arsenal's luck, there might be a scenario where we might say, all right, go put Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield, but then we ain't got a left back available for whatever reason. Such is life in the Premier League. Don't you not think we're a bit short if we let Partey go? It's essentially 1 out and 1 in.
No, do you know what it is? Is that at first I thought that, and then I started looking at the wages that he wanted. I was like, it might be best for him to go.
Yeah, he's trying to chop bread.
He's trying to chop. First of all, we need to remember as well, Marino can play as a number 6 as well, right?
Yeah.
Miles Skelly, I used to go watch him for the under 18s, and this guy was absolutely quality in that defensive midside, because not only did he just stay, he was able to burst through. He's able to make those driving runs, as you saw from last season, from left back into those central areas. And then at the same time, if he does go into defensive midfield, we've got Kiwior, we've got Kiwior there, right? So personally, I get it. It would be nice to have
still trying to see Kiwior left back.
Bro, if he has to go, there, he has to go there. Because I'd rather listen, bro. I'd rather us go for the likes of Sesko, Gyokeres, Rodrigo, and then a Morgan Rogers, right? Yeah. Because that's what
we ain't gonna afford him though, man. Forgive me for my pessimism, and I don't think you're wrong. I'd love that, but
that's the thing. Big clubs. If we keep saying, our fans keep saying, with this big club, with this big club, with this elite club, we need to start doing these things. If we brought in Berta for an extra amount of money, it's no point.
Go find me an unknown guy that can bring something. I just want another midfielder, and I could argue maybe the club knew it, because in an ideal world, Partey doesn't act about his wages and all of those kind of things. Zubimendi comes in anyways, as you both said. Marino's there, Rice is there. I know people don't hear it, but you do have the option of Kai Havertz going into midfield, the Lewis-Skellys and Wanyeris, which we haven't really seen. I must admit, I'm very nervous about that midfield. I am. I think I need one more body to be sweet.
Short. Have you guys seen that video? There's like this one fan that goes to, who's it, Eddie Gaspar, and he's telling him to sign someone. I don't remember who it was. And he's like, we're short in midfield, bro. We're short in midfield.
We're short, man. Because our manager for the last year, 2024, he said on 3-4 occasions, we've got the smallest squad. We've got one of the smallest squad. Our squad is small. We've only got 14, 15 players. We do have injury-prone players. We've got players that have been in the red zone. I'm not saying that to catch Mikel Arteta out. It's you're the manager, and you don't really give much away. So when you're saying this, and I'm seeing it play out, I need us to do something. Like I said earlier, I just want us to be overstocked for once. I use that term loosely.
Why have that expectation when Arsenal have never been that team? We're always missing. We always don't address everything. There's always
to get to a realm that you've never been. You got to do stuff you've never done.
Yeah, I know, but I don't expect that we're gonna do that, because
I don't either. But that's why I'm asking the questions.
But that's the thing as well. You need to remember, right? We can also use Rice there as a number 6 as well. This is the reason why I would run us to get another number 8. It would make sense to get.
I'm on that. Yeah, that's why I mean midfielder. Like I'm not getting hung up on 2 6s and that. I'm just saying a body.
I need a cam. I need an attacking player. I need an attacking midfielder.
Honestly, I don't want a 6. It would be nice to have a 6, but we don't need a 6.
Someone mentioned Rangers, like a profile of that as an 8 in the mix with Zubimendi and Rice and that. And Wanyeris and Lewis-Skelly, I'm sweet.
Morgan Gibbs White, Morgan Rogers, those are the 2 we need to go with.
Xavi Simons, Eze, I'll take any.
No, not Xavi Simons, not Xavi Simons.
Why?
Thank you. There's someone that don't rate him like that for me. I like him. I have him at Arsenal, but too much gassing for him.
But for me, he can score, he can assist, he can create, he can dribble, he has an engine.
Bro, do you really see the level of consistency required?
Consistency. Listen, you need to remember.
This guy comes from La Masia, bro.
If you look at Leipzig and you look at a season at Leipzig, it wasn't the best. Plus,
but they also had a bad season. Let's also caveat that.
I just think he's too hot and cold, man.
For me, I need someone that is really situated to the Prem. I want someone that's already in the Prem. I'd
Yeah,
prefer that because
I hear
because
that.
it
I hear
eliminates
that. But just more
the
expensive.
getting used to the Prem type of stuff. Morgan Gibbs
Nah, I
White,
hear that.
Morgan Rogers. Let's go. Literally,
Morgan Rogers, I'm a big fan of, but Aston Villa are gonna struggle to sell to us. I know they need money, but they're
they need
gonna
money.
try to.
You're telling me right now. You're telling me right now. You drop a 70 mil, they're not going to accept.
Of course they will, but we're not gonna
Uh,
spend 70 mil on a cam.
nah,
We
then
ain't getting a cam. I'm telling you now, we ain't getting a cam. I don't even know if we're getting another midfielder. Honestly, like the fact that only if Partey leaves and Lokonga leaves, then maybe we'll get another one. But I honestly don't see an attacking midfielder. I don't see one coming in.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
You
It is
man
a
got a
shame
question.
because
This
we're
man
always
doesn't
one
want Xavi
player away.
Simons. I must ask him now. How highly does he rate Partey?
Who?
It's a question for you.
For me, how I rate Partey a lot, but again, we need to take off the 24-25 glasses and look at the bigger picture, right? Out of the 5 seasons, he's had 1 season that he's actually been good. 1 season, right?
That's harsh.
No, hold on, bro.
He's had 2, man.
Bro. He's had 1.5. I'll give you 1.5.
Yeah.
1.5.
Oh, that's
It has-
harsh, man.
Nah, bro. Listen, I love Partey. When he's playing, he's cold. He's cold. The way he controls the game, the way he passes through the lane, right? But 1.5 season, 32 years, and you're asking for 200k more. That's a recipe. That's a recipe for disaster.
Is he wrong for wanting his bread though?
No, he's not.
Obviously, we're fans, but I'm not saying give it to him. But I'm saying, is he wrong?
He's not wrong, but at the same time, you need to be almost realistic, right? It's because he says I'm an Arsenal fan. All right, if you're an Arsenal fan, take a bit of a wage cut, play for the club.
But he might. The thing is, we don't have that information, right? Like this all might be games and like chivalry, like you
Mind games.
They're upfronting.
I do think he's gone now, though. But I agree.
I know it looks that way, but I wouldn't be surprised if he changes his mind and he says, you know what? And then like in interviews, like Arsenal was always my club. I didn't want to leave. I want to stay, but all that stuff. And you know, he just ends up staying on the same wages because I think Arsenal know we can't go buy another 40-50 million. Like we would have.
That's what I was going to ask as well. Like I hear what you lot are saying, but then if we've got a bunch of other things to do, even if you give Partey a wage increase, which I'm not saying to do, could that work out cheaper than trying to replace like for like quality through the door? Obviously, if you can go get a young G or somebody that is as good as Partey for, let's go do that. But if we assume that it's going to cost 50-60 million to improve upon Partey, or find levels, surely it's cheaper to just give him a 1-year deal with an option of another with that wage increase, with caveat, however much that is. It don't have to be the most, but yeah, man. I'm happy I'm not bearing Arteta, to be fair.
I'll say this. Yes, it might be cheaper, but at the same time, we could flip it and say we save that 250k or 220k that he wanted, and we go for another Nico Williams or a Rodrigo, and we add that wage to what he could potentially get, right? So it works in both ways, bro. It works in both ways.
This is why I said I'm happy I'm not Arteta or this man. So many spinning plates, yeah. What do you lot make of this? Gary Jacob yesterday in the Times said, Andrea Berta likes to negotiate for several players in the same position at the same time before deciding which move to activate. He sees it as a normal approach. In that sense, Berta contrasts with his predecessor, Edu, who preferred to focus on a single target. For me, I rate Berta for that. Big him up, but not to take anything away. I just feel that's what a competent sporting director should be doing, which he's doing. So, yeah.
Well,
I think.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I would say like there's different approaches, right? Like in business and strategy and everything in all facets of life, there's different approaches. Like, yes, you think there's a standard, right? But clearly it's not because Edu didn't move that way. Edu was very narrow focused. I want this player. I'm focused on this player and I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket. And if we can't get this player, then I'm going to figure out what my next plan is, right? That was Edu. Whereas Andrea Berta is the opposite. He's making sure that someone like Sesko, someone like, Victor Gyokeres is like willing to die for Arsenal. They both like tell all the other clubs, no, I want Arsenal. And then it's our choice and our decision. That gives us a lot of power and a lot of leverage, but it could also get messy like we're seeing a bit now where both players are overvalued in our opinion and we don't know what to do and we don't know which trigger to pull. And then we might lose both and they might move on to other clubs and then we're left twiddling our thumbs going for Ollie Watkins. So it's a dangerous game, but I respect it and I appreciate it. And I think we got to see it play out. We need a sample size to judge Berta on, right? And right now we don't really have one. That we just have the contract extensions and the Zubimendi was done before. So I wouldn't classify that as his. But I mean, the Lewis Kelly, the Gabriel, all the contract extensions, and then the striker and winger, that's where I'm going to judge Berta.
Facts. Completely off topic here, but it might divide opinions. Okay, Dennis said, big up my moderators. Okay, so DG, back to what I said. What do you, man, make of Carlos starting Martinelli for a World Cup qualifier? Does that show there's a player in there maybe worth keeping? He seems to be Brazil's left wing. I've made my stance clear. I'm keeping Martinelli. I need an upgrade until if we sign the Rodrigo, Martinelli now plays to the level he did many years ago and better, then cool, you might be a starter. But for me, drop Donny, you're in the squad. Unless there's an offer, I can't refuse. But where would you lot be at with that?
No, that 100% is my sentiment as well. Right? It's always been the sentiment. It's like, you're not gonna be sold. Like he's not that guy. He's not being sold. We got another year. He's still got talent. He loves the club like a lot. Like you can see Gabriel Magalhaes, all the Brazilian guys, they love Arsenal a lot. You can tell, right? And that's why we love them as well, because that's how you want your players to be, right? So he's not going anywhere.
No, I agree. It's like I wouldn't get rid of him first, but you obviously you did ask the question if a little cheeky 60-70 mil started coming in.
And in terms of the Carlo Ancelotti stuff, like clearly if that manager sees potential in you and he uses you in a certain way, and by the way, when he played for Brazil, he looked really good, and a lot of Brazilian fans were saying that he was their best player, and he had Vinicius.
But the assist he should have got for Cunha.
Or Cunha, yeah.
But again, that game was open. You see what I'm saying? That game there was kind of open. That's where I'm looking at with Martinelli. I just think, I remember a few years ago, and I don't remember the day, but if somebody just types in Martinelli, Mikel Arteta, Martinelli, 100 miles per hour. I remember one of Mikel Arteta's early days, he said Martinelli needs to slow down and stop doing things at 100 miles per hour. I think there's been elements of that, but I don't think it's fully changed. And even going back to what I said about accepting players for what they are, if you kind of coach that a bit too much out of him, you might lose him.
But you know what I'll say? Remember when we forced Oba on the left wing and he looked out of place and he hated being there? I feel that's what I feel with Martinelli. Like he doesn't want to be there, man. He's an inside forward. He wants to be closer to goal. Put him in behind. If you watch the game against, I think it was against PSG, right? There was the opportunity when Odegaard could have played him in behind. He's literally pointing and he's angling his run to go in behind.
We've seen that a few times still.
We don't want to make that pass, right? No, we're allergic to making that pass. And that's a pass that Aubameyang, that Theo Walcott, that Gabriel, they want that pass in behind. Put me in a sprint race. And I'm taking this ball all the way one-on-one with the keeper. If I don't finish, I don't finish. But the point is we don't create enough of those chances. If you create enough of those chances, he'll score enough goals. You're not playing to his strengths.
I hear that. To the panel, despite Arteta having a bunch of midfield options, do you think... Wait, what? To the panel, despite Arteta having a bunch of midfield options, do you think that he will start to rotate? I'm not sure what you mean. I guess I have to assume and interpret it as if you think if you thought Arteta had a bunch of midfield options, would he start to rotate? I think Cam's is going at. What would you lot say to that?
Despite having a bunch of midfield options, do you think that he will start to rotate? Like, listen, one of the weaknesses that I believe Arteta has is, one, he leaves substitutions way too late.
Way too late.
Game's already done, right? 85th minute, this guy wants to bring on a substitution. And two, he doesn't rotate enough.
That's when I think he's given up on the game personally.
I think he's too scared to bring on other players that he had because he doesn't trust the rest of the squad.
I agree.
I think Arteta is like, I've planned all week. They're gonna move here.
I think he's stubborn.
I'm just not deviating away from that.
I honestly think. I agree with African Gooner there. I honestly think he does not trust the rest of the squad, 100%. And hence the reason why he's like, I have to. Do you know why? Yeah, it's because there's a couple of times. Yeah, he did build this. There's a couple of times I've seen players like Declan Rice. He was blowing. He's been blowing a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times Dons are finished.
Yeah, Dons are finished, but he doesn't want to take them off. And it's because he doesn't trust the rest of the squad.
And by the way, can I tell you something? This what we're talking about right now is exactly the reason why I told DG 2 years ago or 3 years ago that we were going to sell Smith Rowe before we sold Smith Rowe, because I could already tell that he didn't trust him. Because when there's opportunities to play someone that has skill sets that is clear and obvious that we're lacking in our team, and you don't bring that guy on,
Smith Rowe might be a better option off that left than Nelly right now.
With Sterling, the same thing. He didn't trust him. He didn't want to bring him on, and rightly so. But we made the decision to bring him to the club.
Oh, why did we sell Emil Smith Rowe?
To be fair, he wanted to cut. But that's because Arteta ain't giving you no encouragement and he's not busting.
But that's the thing as well, guys.
You want to cut. Like,
but that's the thing as well, guys. Like the season before he left, he played at Luton, had the player of the match, had an amazing game. Didn't see him again.
yeah, he got dropped.
That's
Yeah, I
another
know.
thing as well.
Sometimes there's no logic with
Bro,
Arteta's decisions. It's hard to kind of see what he sees sometimes, right? Like when you bring on a defender instead of an attacker, but you're chasing a goal. Like, bro, what? Like, we need a goal. Why are you bringing on a right back? I need you to be bringing on a striker or a winger or
and that's
attacking
and that's
midfielder,
yeah,
right?
and that's another thing as well. I'm tired of seeing him make substitutions like for like. For example, Timber for
Yeah.
White. If we're chasing a game where it's a draw, we know we need to win. Take off Timber, bring on a Havertz if we've already got a striker up there.
Take off a fullback and just bet on one more striker or something.
Yeah, man, just change the game. I want to see, like, he's actually going for it. Right now, it seems like he's too scared to try and do that, or maybe he doesn't have the experience to. Whatever it is, it's killing us. It's
I think it's
absolutely
scared.
killing us.
I think it's scared, but you know why? It's funny because it's killing us even more. Him not doing anything. So I know he's scared to like make a change and then
Like
fans
us
will be
in the transfer window, not buying players has harmed us because we're always nitpicking. And when you do that, you have to make sure when the guys come through the door now, they're wavy. Speaking of that, next question. Michael Edwards, the Liverpool director, is about to sell Kwanzaa for £35 million. Who is the squad player? Why do we find it difficult selling our players for good money? What do we get for Zinni? Boy, Zinni, dark, 10 mil, if that. Well, where are you at with that question?
So, I mean, for me personally, I think it's a nuanced conversation because of the fact that they gave them 120, 130 mil for Wirtz. They are kind of repaying some of that favor and giving them back some of that money, hands down, because Kwanzaa is not £35 million player or 35 million.
A good hustle, though.
Euro. Yeah, it's a good hustle, man.
Isn't Nketiah a 30 million player? No.
I mean, he's British though, right? And he was playing for us. I think he is.
Kwanzaa's British.
Sure, but does he play as much as Nketiah? I think Nketiah contributed more to Arsenal than this Kwanzaa guy did for Liverpool, right? Like the amount of time and minutes he plays and impact. I don't know. It's questionable. It's debatable. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong.
How good are you at hustling? This is where we need to change. Edu weren't a hustler. Michael Edwards been there, done it with a t-shirt.
Edu was never a hustler, but I'll tell you this, right? Another thing as well is that agents play an important part in terms of
%1,000,000
because they're like, yeah, man, look, he's the next Van Dijk. He's got so much potential. He just didn't get his chance at Liverpool. Trust me, there's a player in there, and then you're having negotiations, you're having this.
But you know what? It's also the reputation. We have a bad reputation. So when we already are on a losing playing field, we're already in the negatives when we come and we start a negotiation. In my opinion, based on our history of what we do with Liverpool, when you go negotiate with Liverpool or Brighton, look before we even get linked, you already know that those discussions are going to be very difficult, right? Because they have a reputation, they have a brand. Liverpool, we know they're going to always get good money for all their players. Even Chelsea do that, right? With Arsenal, you know that we're a joke when it comes to selling. And that's something that we need to change. We need to change the perception of the market on us as negotiators and as a selling club and also as a buying club. And I think we've started to do that with better signings and better recruitment. But as you said, like with some of these wages that we're giving players that are, average players that we are struggling to get rid of, like someone like Zinchenko and Reece Nelson.
Yeah, we did get
There's
decent.
Still a lot of mess
honestly, I think we've improved that. I know before it was kind of bad, but we sold Nketiah for 30 mil. We sold Balogun for 35
mil. Yeah, but that's two examples out of like how many? That's out of hundreds of examples.
I hear that, but you need to remember.
It needs to become the minimum now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. You need to remember as well, that we've transitioned away from that. Right, it's the last 2-3 seasons where we're starting to make better. Like, do you remember when Nketiah last season actually Marseille wanted to buy him for like 20 mil, and we said no.
To be fair, I rate Eddie for that. Everyone was getting at him. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. We got to be fair. That you was right then, innit?
Yeah, he was right. He was right, and that's the team. That's again the team showing progression, and this is what I like about Berta. Berta, he came in. The first thing he did when he came in, he is like, we're not going to go for John Garcia for 25 million. We're going to go for Kepa, 5 million. Get in through the door.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it played out. I'm going to be honest with you. Honestly, I don't think that was our decision. I think Joan Garcia is the one who chose Barcelona, and that's why we didn't get the deal done. I don't think it's that Arsenal were the ones saying, hey, you know what, we're going to change our strategy. We're going to get someone cheaper. I think we couldn't guarantee the game time, and he made his choice, and we got to live with it and we move on. And yeah, we'll play it off as if we are the ones who changed our mind. But I really don't think that is the case, in my opinion.
The reason why I think that is because from January up until March, April times, we was getting linked with him. We was getting linked, and then it's suddenly just stopped.
But it goes even beyond that. Do you know that last summer, before we got Neto, we actually were signing him, and he had his bags ready. He had his bags ready, packed to come to us. And the only reason we didn't buy him is because we didn't want to pay an extra $5 million to activate his release clause because of the PSR and all the money that we had spent. So we said, wait a whole season. We're going to come back next year to get you, and we'll pay the release clause. And that's why we went and signed a cup-tied freaking goalkeeper, Neto. And now we came back this year where he had an incredible season, right? I think probably the goalkeeper of La Liga. And now all these big teams like Barcelona can offer him guaranteed game time, and we can't. And it's normal that he's going to go and choose Barca, right? And he's Spanish as well. Like, I mean, I think that's how.
And the number one shirt is there. Ter Stegen's getting rubbed out. Chesney's an old man. Pick him up.
That is crazy.
You don't want to. When we was mentioning Garcia last year, I said, like, I want this Garcia lad, but it just stinks of the goalkeeping thing we've had because you're getting inroads in La Liga. There's only so long you're gonna want to be second fiddle to Raya. So Arteta would have a choice of, does he actually come true with some of those claims about our sub goalies at halftime, or is Raya gonna have to take it on the chin and either leave or be second choice, or is Garcia prepared to hold it up? It's probably a fallacy, man. It's probably a fallacy. It's one we're gonna look back and think what could have been, even though I've got no issues with Raya.
Problems. It would have brought problems, which is why I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? It would have caused some division within the fan base and stuff that we don't need. Like, we have way bigger priorities than, who's our starting goalkeeper is good enough for me to not really be, too disheartened by it. Of course, Garcia, I think, probably displaces Raya someday, and he ends up being better than him. But I think in this moment in time, as a fan base and as a club, we got way bigger priorities, man. Like, you know what I mean? Which is okay. Which is why I'm like, whatever. It is the way it is, and we tried and we made some mistakes, but it's actually not the end of the world for us.
Big up Miles Lewis Skelly. I'm not even going to, I think we can move on from this. Everybody's in agreement. We're happy this man has signed a new deal. We love all of that. What do you lot make of Carlos Costa leaving? Pick him up at 29, 30 years of age. Great stuff, but boy.
I'm happy for him. But I think we've lost a good one there. We've lost a good one.
Absolutely. Same here. I think, obviously, I think losing anyone in Arteta's inner circle is important now when we have a solid kind of group, right? And a lot of the players talk about this family and everything. Like, when you become comfortable and you're all like on the same hymn sheet, right? Like, everyone is focused on one goal. It's very easy to move a team or a club or an organization towards that, right? So having any type of destabilization in any way, whether small, big, or medium, is not good for us. So I think, Arsenal are going to do their due diligence. You probably won't replace him immediately. It'll probably take a couple of months to get someone else. And we have people around Arteta now that can fill that role. So yeah, I mean, best of luck to him. And as you said, DG, like, that's a great achievement, right? 29 years old. He's the youngest manager in the top 5 European leagues now, which and Arsenal created that, right? So again, it's reflective on us and showing other people and other professionals that if you come to Arsenal, it could be a step not only for players but also for coaches and managers and etc., staff members to elevate in the industry. I guess that's a way of looking at it as well. That people,
big him up, man. Like, everybody's got ambition. Arteta must have seen a bit of himself when he departed. This was probably what he was always geared to do. I hear what you're saying about our family and all of that, and I don't think you're wrong. But change is inevitable. It is what it is. It's go shine, my guy. I'm keen to see you, Cesc Fabregas, and Vieira in Serie A next season. Shine, man. Hope one of you win the damn thing, but whether that happens is another kind of thing, man. What do you lot make of this year? Now, there's bare rumors being thrown into this, but Sesko, one rumor that I wanted to speak with you lot about, apparently, if he is to join Arsenal, he wants a release clause in his deal.
20% of the fee that we're paying. I've seen that from a French reporter as well that I trust quite well. And look, I mean, I don't know why it doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would you want to move into a club and like one of the first things you agree on, or one of the?
I agree. I hear why you want that, because you might get Real Madrid offers one day if you develop. But we're not a little man.
Yeah, but Arsenal have never done that ever. When have Arsenal ever signed a player and put a release? Like, that's not an English.
Let's do a gentleman's agreement.
But yeah, I think.
I don't like that. I don't like that because would he do that at Man City? No,
Probably
Would you do that
not.
anywhere else? Forget that. I don't want to hear that.
That's the thing. I don't want to hear that. If
I
you're
swear
talking
Haaland
about
had a release clause, to be fair, but you're not Haaland.
yeah, you're not Haaland, bro. Like, and at the same time, it's that you're kind of using us as a stepping stone. That's the way I see it. You're using us as a
Yeah.
stepping stone because you're thinking, all right, I'm gonna prove to other guys that I'm good, and then I'm waiting for a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, Bayern Munich to come in and get me, and I want to be able to go.
As
If
much
that's
as
the
it
case,
pees me off, I don't mind that because it shows. And when I remove my Arsenal fan badge, it shows ambition. You know where you want your career to go. My thing
nah,
is, fuck that release clause. Whatever
nah,
you're
nah,
thinking is happening, we're not
bun
a little man
that,
club. You're not getting that. That's me.
because if you're coming to the club and I'm spending
Yeah.
what 70, 80 mil on you, I'm
Exactly.
expecting you to want to play for the badge.
For
I'm
the rest
expecting
of
you
your life.
for the not
I know it's
the
not
rest of
the
no,
case.
maybe
You're
not
I
the
know
rest
it's
of
not
life.
the case.
Maybe not the
doing,
rest of life,
doing a
but
lot.
at least 5 years. At least 4 to 5 years. I'm expecting you to be at the club.
But what if
And
he wants that and he wants the release clause like 5th year? I want to cut.
nah, then tell him to go
Nah,
suck
then you're
himself.
not for us. Move
Gyökeres.
on.
Real talk. Tell him to go suck
Move
himself.
on. But that's my
Gyökeres coming
point. Like,
because Gyökeres. Look, think about it. Sorry, my bro.
no, go for
Gyökeres
it. Go for it.
Gyökeres is actually saying to everyone else. He's come out publicly and saying, "I want to join Arsenal.
Yeah.
I want to come and join Arsenal. Everything else is a
No.
second priority." And
Yeah.
you've got mine talking about what?
Release
Are you-
clause. Yeah.
Go
I
fuck
know.
yourself.
It's too much
Go
ego.
fuck yourself.
Honestly, it shows
Yeah. I don't like that.
shows the bad
I don't like that.
side of
If that is
things.
true, because
If
first I
it's true, yeah.
wanted Sesko before. If that is true, bro, bun him, man. Go get
But you know
Gyökeres.
what? On the other side of the coin, the stuff about Gyokeres and also like they have to pay 10% of the fee if the
Bear
bid is-
mind games with
That's also
Gyokeres.
nasty. That's also nasty. So both of them have some dirt.
It's drama
going-
in it for both of these youths, man.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And
to be honest.
apparently we want him. Like apparently he's told friends and family where Gyokeres is concerned, he
See?
expects us to
See?
sign.
See? That's what you
Talksport
want.
apparently are saying that Gyokeres is actually more likely to sign. I don't know, man, because
See?
one
That's
report
what
says
you
Sesko
imagine
and
that-
Gyokeres.
That's what
I don't
you
know
want,
anymore.
man. That's what
You
you
have a-
want. You want a player to come in and be like, yeah, I want
Yeah.
to go for Arsenal.
You have a
I want to
player
play for Arsenal.
twerking. You have a player of this caliber
Release clause,
twerking
you know.
for us. Yeah,
They
we
both
still
got shady
don't wanna
agents, though.
move.
Not even shady
It's so
agents. Just,
Arsenal,
yeah.
bro. It's so Arsenal. We don't even get into situations like this when someone who is so wanted or one of the top goal scorers, one of the top strikers in the market is telling everybody, Man U, Juventus, his family is like, no, I'm waiting for Arsenal, and we are here.
Dreams are
sitting
playing
like
for us,
props.
apparently.
Bro, it's frustrating.
Look at that.
Frustrating.
Look at that. Right? Look at that. Because the thing is, people don't understand. I know people just think it's words, but the moment a player arrives at the club, he wants to set an impression. He wants to be like, yeah, I want to play for the club. I want to play for Arsenal Football Club. I want to do this. I want to get the best goals. I want to win the champ. Release clause. Are you mad?
Yeah.
I'm not on that.
Bro,
Well, we don't know
dead
if
that,
it's
man.
true,
Dead
but,
that. Yeah,
I hope it's not true. I hope it's rumors and whatnot, but
I hope it's not true. But if it is true,
safe.
just go ahead.
Yeah, Gyokeres thing, keep it moving. Like we're not
man.
on that. Would you like have Visa? Apparently, we're one of 5 clubs interested. He would cost 50 mil though.
How much?
Yo,
50.
Yeah.
50.
I mean, it's not
I'll
bad.
say this. I'll say this.
50
If we
is
get rid of Trossard, I'll bring in Whistle.
Yeah,
Not for 50,
agree.
but I would
agree.
love him in the squad. I think this would cook still, but 50.
I think,
But I did
this
say
is-
50 is the new 25. But man,
Yeah, if this is a striker signing.
it's madness
I think
though.
people will be really disappointed. I think people rather take Watkins than him, but he's a solid player. I'd rather take Mbeumo. And Mbeumo's 50 million. Why go for him? If you're gonna go 50 million, go for
It's the
Mbeumo.
United thing, man. That one's probably gone.
But they haven't moved on it, right? It's been like weeks. I thought it was supposed to be done, right? It's been like 2-3 weeks since all that stuff happened, and no move has been made yet. So I mean, look, if we're saying 50 million, we gotta go get him. And the fact that we don't even look, Nico Williams looks dead in the water, right? I mean, Rodrigo looks dead in the water.
Finished.
Sorry?
Dead in the water is finished.
Oh yeah, it's
Nico
finished.
Williams and Arsenal is no more. It probably didn't get off the ground.
He'll eat peanuts to play for them, but he wasn't saying that for us. So forget that.
And that's our fault. Stop chasing gal that don't like you. Where Arsenal and Nico Williams is concerned. Like, it don't make no sense. They're gonna put goalposts. As soon as a girl that likes him is going there in Barcelona, I don't care about money. I don't care about this. You got to make the first step with the agents.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we sign a right winger that can play on both wings, really, because I don't see what left winger now is really there left on the market for us. I mean, Lookman and stuff, we haven't really been linked. Rafael Leao, who I really, really want, but I think Bayern probably are leading the race for that.
Yeah, it looks like they're onto him. Heavy.
He's so good. I'm watching comps of him. He's so good, bro. He's exactly what we need. He's
Bro,
even
Do you need
better than
Rafael Leao when you can buy Madueke?
Nah, please,
Nah,
please.
Ma-
You shameless
Madueke.
NS.
No, I'm
I
sorry.
got to answer the question.
I'm sorry. Yeah, two things. Yeah, one just on Rafael Leao quickly.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's a Milan fan,
Yeah.
and he said because I was like, yeah, I want Leao. He looked at me.
Let me guess, another hot and cold brother like Xavi said.
Yeah, he's like, bro, you don't want
I
Leao.
don't lie to you lot.
You don't want Leao, right? Because when it comes to the Prem, you know the Prem. The things about the Prem, you can't afford to be lax.
Yeah,
you can't afford to be lax for even 5 minutes. You're lax, you get punished. And
Them
that's
man
what
in
Leao
London.
is.
Ooh.
Yeah. You get lax, you get punished, right? So he gets laxes. He gets lax of moments where he just switches off. Personally, I would go for Mitoma.
80 mil probably, right? Like, damn.
I just can't see us doing the Gyokeres and Mitoma. You got a 27 and 28-year-old. I'm not against it, but you know how our club operate. But why get Mitoma when you can get Madueke and we've got good relationships with Chelsea and England international? Plays off the left and right.
This guy.
Is there any takers here?
Madueke, I will take Madueke because I think he's a baller. But you need to remember this: Madueke is going to be brought in to be backup to Saka, not to be a starter.
Left wing when needed, but yeah,
not a starter. But this guy's a baller. Do not get it twisted. Like he's one of the only players in the Prem right now that can easily just go past players easily. It's just his end product that is rubbish.
I think forget how good he is or not. I think we're past that point now. We've signed in too many. It's like too many Chelsea players, right? Like just stop. Irrespective.
I get it.
Like I hear you. He could be, but just
can I say something?
Not gonna we're just over it now.
Can I say something? Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna get cooked for this, but I don't think Rodrigo is gonna do all that if he comes. You know,
we're not getting him in. I think he will, but I don't think we're getting Rodrigo full stop.
I don't think he'll do. I don't think he'll do that. And the guy that I see on the screen right now, Anthony Gordon, he better not touch Arsenal Football Club.
Why?
He looks like he's going Liverpool, but why?
This guy's average, guys.
He's
average. He's average.
He's above average.
I like him though. He's gonna be overpriced though.
He's overpriced average, for sure, but to say he's average, like he's good, bro.
Average ain't even an insult, really. Like there's bare average people that are Premier League legends.
He is bro.
You know why I like him? He shoots a lot. He shoots a lot. We need someone who wants to score goals. This guy is hungry for goals, bro. He doesn't score like he hit the top right corner. I mean, he's got that on lock. But if you watch his compilation, a lot of his goals are tap-ins, and he's just in the right place at the right time. Again, remember we're talking about.
I'm telling you now, bro.
He's better. He's better than Martinelli. He's better at finishing than Martinelli.
The ball's on the floor with that man.
I'd rather keep.
That's like rating a goalie because they catch better than runners.
I'd rather keep Martinelli. I'd rather keep Martinelli instead of getting this guy. This guy's bang average, man. Bang average.
I like Gordon.
I think when you're so deprived,
this guy,
you kind of make exceptions.
Bring this shit tomorrow.
Yeah, I want him today.
Yeah, even.
This guy is a big
such an Arsenal Emirates era player.
But then you
should. He reminds me of Nasri.
Yeah, but we should have
poor man's Nasri. A poor man,
We should have signed Turkey instead, man. If we really wanted to get that.
No.
I wanted Cherky. Certain man were telling me about systems and that, bro. If we can get this year, he's versatile, he's young, I will be with this.
This is the guy that we need. The reason why is because I've seen him play for Leicester and he plays that 8/10 as opposed to Cherky just being a number 10. Cherky, he's the guy that stays in the hole and is like, give me the ball and I'll make things happen. This guy, he dropped deep.
Cherky going wide.
Yeah, I hear that.
I want this year. I don't know if I should buy it though.
Yeah, man, this guy does both.
Is this a credible source? I don't know, man. Like,
no, it's not.
But I saw him and I was like, it's such a player, man.
We've been linked for a while. There hasn't been any serious talk.
Yeah, like nobody said anything.
Yeah, but I think in the next few weeks, probably we'll hear where he's ending up. Again,
I don't buy this. Are you having Warren Zaire? I don't buy this rumor. I would love to have him. I don't buy it though.
I don't want him.
Graham Bailey and Kiwior football is not a great.
This guy's a generational talent.
Is it? Do you know what? Maybe I need to look at him more.
Give him a chat. Once he gets a chat, I don't know why Luis Enrique ain't busting him. He's cold.
I've seen him play for France.
You're not gonna play week in, week out for us, so it probably doesn't make sense joining us. But I think it's Wasp.
I've seen him play for France.
I'm probably biased because I rate him, but
Yeah, he's a baller. He just doesn't get the opportunity because there's too many other ballers at freaking PSG. They have way too many good attacking players, man. Like, honestly, they should just give us some.
What's this? GA in 2024-25. Player A, 8 goals, 4 assists. Player B, 6 goals, 5 assists. Can you guess who each player is? One of them's Rodrigo, isn't it?
Yeah, one of them's Martinelli.
One of them's probably exactly African Gooner. Yoni, let us know. So now we're doing the stats thing. I just want a shiny new toy, if I'm honest. I just want to enjoy it.
We're
But
deprived.
you don't want a shiny new toy that breaks as soon as it drops.
Buy a new thing now, man. I just said buy a new thing, man.
That shiny new toy,
I know it's silly, but buy a new thing. Just buy bare stuff. Like, I kind of wish I could just wake up and we done that. Like,
it has a durability meter. Like, we want a shiny toy, but as you said, you don't want one that you're just gonna break at the first time you drop it, right? So
buy a pair and a spare
one. Yeah. So Rodrigo and Trossard, or who was it?
Yeah, who is it? Rodrigo? No, but Yoni's the one that asked the question.
Okay,
He's got to answer it because everything else is a guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, player A is Martinelli and player B is Gordon and Rodrigo.
And Rodrigo, yeah.
See?
So maybe these guys are not going to take us out the hood regardless. But that's a stats thing though, man.
Nah, man. No. Do you know what it is? It's because at first I wanted Rodrigo. And then I looked at him again. I was like, yeah, he's a good player. But, bro.
The only thing I disagreed with Rodrigo is people saying he's our Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez was a baller over them sides and was a baller over these sides. I'm not saying Rodrigo isn't, but I haven't seen that. But that being said, bro, I'm taking Rodrigo tomorrow.
The level of hunger that Alexis Sanchez have, the only comparable person I would say is that level is Ronaldo, right? Like, that's the level, like CR7, that's the level of hunger that Sanchez had to win. And that you cannot teach, and that's innate. For like, that's very, very hard to find in this, especially in 2025. With the way the world is today, it's very hard to find players like that. So
no, just keep, as long as we keep Anthony Gordon away from the club, I'm fine.
You don't have to worry about Gordon, man. I don't think he's joining Arsenal. Would you not make a Pato?
Yeah, great player. I think it would be good to have him in. I think roughly the last time I saw his transfer market value was probably around like 20 to 30 million.
40.
If the Ajax, you want 40.
Oh, 40, damn. Well, listen.
But surely if you're Ajax, I reckon personally, I want him to sign for Arsenal. I'm not saying
I do.
Leaving is a bad thing with Ajax, but what, you're 19, you've captained them before, you've played over 100 times, you've spent a year at left back, centre half, you got a World Cup next year. Maybe you could just stay one more year.
Ajax has super technical players as well, like we know with Timber. So like they meets our style, and we've been linked with them for 2 years. You know, and we can change our formation.
You can play Rodrigo in the 10, but go on.
Lewis Kelly, push Lewis Kelly up front into midfield. You know, it gives us a lot of flexibility. And if we get rid of Zinchenko and Kiwior, then definitely he's the one who's going to be bringing in. And Liverpool and Chelsea are also interested. Chelsea have calmed down in talks since the Club World Cup, and that's why Arsenal have advanced negotiations. So looks like personal terms are going to be agreed, and we just have to figure out on the fee. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the signing that we get before we get Sesko and Gyokeres stuff.
Call your way immediately.
I want Timber's twin, Quentin.
I don't know.
Yeah, we were linked with him a few times, but
I think he's calm. I think he's cool.
He's a midfielder.
I don't know.
What for 20 to 30 mil?
I wouldn't cry that. A bit more. Well, you got tech, but you're more of an industrial midfielder. If you get it for the price you said, I'm cool with that. But
and he wants
us. Move me, man. He don't move.
I hear that. He's not. I'm not trying to buy him as a
a little squad player. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but you see, we don't want any squad players right now. I only want to see potential starters, at least for the first 3-4 signings, right? And then once we filled all the positions that need to be addressed, then sure, okay, go, get your squad fillers and your squad players. But I think people will be really frustrated if you sign rotation squad players. This is why we're frustrated with Merino, right? And people are saying, oh, Zubimendi's a waste. If you sign Zubimendi last season instead of Merino, complete different conversation that we have, right?
I don't know, because Merino bust it against Madrid. Obviously, we couldn't predict it, but
yeah,
it might have panned out.
He's bought as a squad player. He's not bought as a starter. And
I hear you, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
But the problem was the ITKs and these journalists and these coaches. Everyone was saying Merino's going to take Partey's place, game-changing 8, going to unlock this, that, the other. Anyone that watched Sociedad or anyone that just randomly watched 5 to 10 games without being a religious Sociedad watcher, you knew it weren't adapting. You knew it wasn't adapting. My last thing for you lot as well, yeah. Arsenal apparently have discussed Mohamed Kudus at West Ham, as have Chelsea and Spurs. Arsenal, well, we've gone over the Madueke bit, but Kudus, any takers?
Yes.
I'll take him in. I'll take him in a heartbeat. And I wanted to throw this back at you guys. Would you guys take Luis Diaz from Liverpool?
Oh yeah, 100%. I rate Diaz, bro. 100%.
By default, yes, because we're like he's better than what we have, but nah.
Nah, he's good, bro. He's good.
Do you know how much what you're saying about Gordon to a degree applies to Diaz? Do you know how mad Luis Diaz makes Liverpool fans? They're so frustrated to the point where they say he plays a lot better for Colombia. By default, I'm having him, but it's
listen, you can't compare Gordon to Diaz. Like I get it, maybe he might frustrate you, but Diaz is at least clinical. He can play up front, he can play on the left. He's a good player.
Diaz misses a lot, bro.
I like Diaz. Don't get twisted. I like him, but I don't really think it makes sense. He's 28 as well. And I'm talking about your decision making and frustrations.
Mate, someone said Martinelli over Diaz. Whoa.
I mean, it's
same
close.
2 peas of a pod, really.
It's close.
To be fair, he did get 13 league goals, 13 goals, 7 assists. Maybe there's a bit of attacking tax and transitional tax, so he might not get those numbers. Fair enough. He's got the same amount of, to be fair, he's not really the most prolific of inside forwards anyway. He's got the exact same amount of goals for Porto and Liverpool at this moment, which is 41. And the assists are near enough identical. He's got 23 for Liverpool and 19 for Porto. Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. If there's a deal to be had. But yeah, man, I think we need to explore other options.
Yeah, Kudus, definitely. I'll take him in a heartbeat. I'll take Kudus in a heartbeat.
You man love to fund rivals.
He'd be able to play both. He'd be able to play in the 10. He'd be able to play dude, he'd be so good. Prem proven. He brings the directness. He can dribble. He can score. He can assist. Honestly, I don't see any negatives with signing.
Look at this comment. I'm sorry, I'm not even dissing Luis Diaz. Is Luis Diaz world class?
No,
world class.
No, he's not world class. But
he's
very good player.
He's a very good player, but world class is debatable. I'll say debatable.
He's not world class, man. He's good, very good, but world class.
Very good, yeah, very good.
Come on, man.
Again, he'll get you goals. He'll definitely get you more goals than Martinelli.
Bars on the floor. That's what I keep saying. The bars on the floor, like being better than Martinelli, more goals than Martinelli. Like, bro, the bars on the floor. The bars on the floor. We don't probably get silly, but if we're just looking for a defender just better than Mustafi.
Take Martinelli's best season, and that should be the stat. That's where we should be holding Martinelli accountable. Next season, he's got to be beating those numbers. And if the player that we bring in also can't beat those numbers, then we shouldn't be considering them as an option, in my opinion. If we want to really be moving the needle and pushing our squad and pushing the quality higher, then we got to be looking for players that are gonna double or increase the output, right?
World class is crazy, but lads, this has been fantastic. Before I let you lot get out of here, thank you for being here. I appreciate the talking points. Let people know where they can find you, man. We got to do this again.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok and YouTube, RWL Football Hub. And again, DG, thank you very much, man.
Man, thank you lot. The platform needs people like you. It's a chance for me to shut up, engage in conversation, bounce off you lot, man. So big up yourselves, man. But yeah, tell them again.
Freaking Gooner on Twitter and Instagram, and also be posting on YouTube pretty soon. So watch out for that.
Come on. And people, don't forget to follow the Mandem's platform, like and subscribe. I've had them here for close to 2 hours. It's boiling hot in the United Kingdom, and obviously where African Gooner is. I don't want them to waste their Friday. So Mandem, appreciate you lot. Get you lot back on the show next week if you're free. Definitely. Done no chat, man. We're out. Come on.
Yes, sir. Let's
always just like